Okay, my name is Dr. Anacleto Millendez, the founder of the Beautiful Heart Foundation, and today I am so blessed to be meeting again this woman with a beautiful heart who is also representing the Beautiful Heart Foundation here in Davao City. She has been very instrumental in the successful medical dental mission last December 1 and 2 in Samal Island, serving the Badjaos and other poor residents of the island. I would like to introduce this lady as the consultant also of the ABM International Consultancy, and she will speak first about her experience the last 2 days of medical outreach programs in Samal Island. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, doctor. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, our audience. Where is our audience?
Please give us a background of your personal and professional profile.
I'm Dr. Corazon May M. Baylon. I am a socioeconomist by profession. I practice both in community and in corporations. And I used to work with Malyonga Consulting Services Incorporated. Now I am freelance.
And now you are involved
with Beautiful
with...
Heart Foundation.
And please, I know that was your first time to be exposed in a medical outreach program under the Beautiful Heart Foundation. Can you share briefly the first time that we visited the Badjaos on December 1 and then the actual medical mission and dental mission on December 2? Today is December 3.
On December 1, that was my first visit to the tribal village. I was accompanied by the president of Samal Tribal Society and her cousin. Ising Dumanhog is the male cousin. Cynthia Dumanhog Sinipit, or on internationally known as Cynthia Crichton, accompanied me. Cynthia, as the president of Samal Tribal Society, has been the trainer, the organizer for the Ipralo and Kadti areas of the IGACOS, Island Garden City of Samal. She is a Sama tribe person herself, born in Babak herself, and grew up there, although she got married to an Australian, and he's lived there for a year in Balet, Babak. So when we went to the Badjaos tribal village on December 1, I saw a small piece of land occupied by at least 18 families. I think if I were to do a profile of each family, each house, about 20 houses, made of bamboo poles with very, very light material, and air passing through, had at least 3 families living in there, and an average of 5 to 7 family members. I'm sorry, Doc, I'll tell you more about it because I saw many things with my eyes. I did a profiling of the people, and they were saying that most of them have been living in both houses for years. On the average, they have been living on land, especially in the Badjaos tribal village in Barangay Villarica, Babak, for at least 3 years now. But when I interviewed other people, they said they've been in this area since birth. Some of them have been moving back and forth because they are really nomadic sea gypsies. But they would like to really claim their rights in the Kadti area of the Island Garden City of Samal, who was given an IPRA Kadti in 2015 by the city of IGACOS. Okay. So when I saw there, I saw 20 houses with approximately 3 families, children, young children, new babies, women with a lot of babies too, and husbands who were either fisher folk or were doing selling of shoes provided by a funder. I don't know who gave them the shoes. Anyway, when I was there, I saw how unkept their community was, how lacking it was in sanitation, how lacking in terms of water facilities, because they had to buy their water at 1 peso per gallon from the nearby public market. And the other one is that many children were not sick, they looked very healthy, and they were playing, cooking, on the floor, selling noodles and vegetables at 1 peso per order, and they were enjoying eating it, surrounded by children. The other one, the women were just chatting and preparing, cooking, bathing, whatever they had to do at home. Then the men, some of them were not there because they were in the fishing out in their boats. Most of them came back in the afternoon, some with fish, some with not so many fish. Okay. Then there was a place there where the shoes were sold. So it was a very simple place, but I noted that there was no source of drinking water, there was no source of bathing water, nor for cooking. For me, that was a very interesting meeting, because I've never worked with Badjaos in my life. Second, I've never attended a tribal village, and nor was I going to talk about a medical mission. I've never attended or organized one.
Everything was really first time.
First time. First time in IGACOS village, first time with the people, first time with their life, and so I saw really with my, and then uncolored eyes, meaning I really saw the life on how I felt that these are a beautiful people if only they had people who would take care of them. Health, food, education. None of them had gone to school, none of them had birth certificates, none of them had cedula. Okay? And I saw many young boys, teenagers, who were just helping pull the boats from the sea to the seashore because the tide was coming in at about 4 o'clock. While we were meeting, suddenly all the people started to go around and said, where did all these people come in? So I said, there are so many people there, and you don't see them during the day. I think what you saw were very few. 18 families times 5, 90 people. So, 90, did you say 90? I think more or less there are about 100.
Well, the first visit was December 1, where I had an ocular inspection of the place and a survey of a rough estimate of how many patients I will be treating the next day. So, but I had a closer interaction with the children in that afternoon and their mothers. In fact, I already brought my donation of that swing, that wooden swing for the children, and they were very happy that first day. And I promised that the next day, as early as 7 o'clock, December 2, I will show up in the same place, that I will start distributing free medicines and will do free medical consultation. And then, before doing that on that day, I had an immersion of some sort where I joined with them, taking some breakfast. So, and then I did some kind of encouraging them to entertain me, where I heard their music and the dance.
Okay.
And I took videos of those events, and also started the medical mission by asking them to line up and start asking them their health conditions and giving them medicines composed of antibiotics for children and for adults, multivitamins for children and adults, peptic ulcer and medicines for hyperacidity. At the same time, distributed different kinds of antiseptics.
Okay.
And more than that, I think it's the love and care that I was able to let them feel that I embrace the children, I carry the small child, I hug the women, and even the men would also hug me. So these are documented in a series of videos that I will try to edit. From, and they even told me around the community where I have seen those houses that you were describing, I have seen 12 sets of motorboats or fishing boats.
Large ones.
Yeah, large
motorized.
ones. And they were hoping that since they are all 18 families, they're hoping that they have at least 18 fishing boats as well. And I said, I will try my best if I can raise money to buy or help them get additional boats. And the average cost of a fishing boat is about 50,000, which is really about $1,000. So other than that, I was asking them if the women can be trained for some kind of livelihood program. If say we would bring a training program for say sewing or any kind of livelihood program that will just use their hands and maybe an add-on of a sewing machine, which I also pledged that maybe next time I'll try to bring a sewing machine which is not electrical, the manual sewing machine, because they have no, I don't think they have electricity there. So
But they would be, meaning there is, except that it's not provided them, or they were not really taken care of yet because they were supposed to be in a place where they were not supposed to be.
and that's the sad part of
And that's
my
the sad part
interaction
of it.
with them, because they already told me that the next day, which is December day, which is today, they will be demolished, they will be transferred and relocated to some other areas. What I heard is they will be returned back to Isla Verde, that is part of Davao City. What do you think about that, ma'am? It's almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the watch because this is about the time I was there. I was watching the beautiful sunset of Davao City. I was watching the tide coming in and the boats coming in. And I noted that there were no electricity because they were not given by the barangay, but they have what you call solar. If only they were given solar power,
Yes.
that's one. And if you can give them water, pump or anything, in that area there is what they call tubod ba na? You just
Natural.
need, you need only to have to take care of the pipe, and you can have bomba. Okay.
So
in
these
other words,
basic
there are-
services
they
are
could-
deprived. They are
they-
deprived of this basic services.
Yes, they are.
From water to basic, I think even basic health services. Because when I was
solid waste management.
when I was
sir.
after I was finished doing medical consultation and distribution of free medicines, I asked them who was the first doctor who visited in your area, and they said you are the first one.
Tama po. That's right. That's right po.
But somehow, because of our sincerity, because of our little help that we did during that day, I think I have established some kind of connection. I think I was able to get their trust that even when the dental team of the Philippine Navy arrived, I escorted the dental van to go exactly in that area where they are supposed to be treated by dentists and dental assistants. But when we arrived, what I noticed was they were no longer as cooperative as when I was doing medical mission. This is just in a span of 2 hours.
They are afraid of their teeth being touched. If you notice, their teeth are silver, and they don't like being.
So nobody really
They refuse to be treated by dentists.
okay.
So
And
you
even
didn't get
just
them.
I encouraged them to go up the van. They won't go up. So I requested the dental team if you can just go down and look at their mouth. And
Because they were in uniform, right?
oh, so that's
Trust
another
level.
fear. That's another fear because
Their
this.
fear, that's fear.
So if we brought a volunteer civilian dentist,
Yes, no military connections. You will get better results. they have fear of the unknown. And they didn't even want to have coffee.
But
They
according to
didn't want-
Cynthia, supposedly their leader in the Samal Tribal Society, what really threatened them was the announcement that very morning that tomorrow you will be
and they
demolished. So, but the tomorrow is today. What is happening today right
you
now?
want an update, sir?
Yes.
There were as early as about 8 or 9, I think 8, 9 or 10, the city housing person, together with supposedly the one who was, it was a Kagawad, I don't want to name him, but he's the one who's the proponent of the transfer back to Isla Verde, and that there is a barangay Kagawad in Isla Verde, Roy, who has met with them, and he even dropped names of the mayor, etc. So I would like to investigate this.
I'm not sure because yesterday when the dental van arrived, there was a guy representing to be
It was the housing person
Okay, but anyway,
of the city. So he had the authority of the mayor, and it was a result of a meeting between the city government here of that barangay Kagawad and the housing czar.
anyway,
of the city.
when I met with this representative from the local government or from the barangay, I was appealing to him that in the event that they will push through with the demolition, I am hoping and praying that there will be no fighting,
None.
no resistance, no violence. And before I left, I also talked to the Badjaos themselves that I don't want to hear news that there was fighting and there is resistance and violence out of the demolition, especially if it's triggered by you, Badjaos.
So actually, as early as this morning, there was a negotiation. I went back there after lunch in a small restaurant. But when I went there, I requested for a huddle and coffee with the men. They didn't want to go out of the village for fear of, of something. So we decided to meet in a small huddle at the side of one house. The men squatting, I was sitting on a bench, and the children playing and all that. So we have pictures. Chin will send you the pictures. And I noted that there were 4 or 5 informal leaders because they're not organized. They have 4 or 5 informal leaders of men who were mostly fisher folk. Okay? And their wives were there, very supportive. And my first impression is that these Badjaos are family-oriented families. The husband is a loving father. He tries to make money for them. He goes fishing. The woman does the cooking and the caring of the children, but she has no income, right? I don't know how they... So the children were seem happy without money or anything, but I saw that they eat fish, including the botete. They're not...
Botete is like a local fish.
No, it's like, can you imagine a tadpole? That's a big fish with a big stomach, and you would not eat it. I would not eat a botete.
That is what I heard as poisonous
It's
fish.
a poisonous fish.
Oh, okay.
But they're able to cook it because they have a secret on removing the
Okay, I
toxin.
saw that fish when I arrived there just last December 1.
That's the botete.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yun po, yun ang botete, and they have small fish. And for me, that's their food. Then in the afternoon, I was still there. When we were having a meeting, the women already starting to cook rice in different houses, and firewood, and rice. Okay? I didn't see any ulam, except maybe for the fish that was being cooking. But I noted also that as we were talking, there were 4 informal leaders, and they were very worried about their displacement, or they're being told many things. One, that they were going to be paid 1,005 to leave the island. That the city government had meetings telling them that they should do it. The second one is that they were not allowed to beg.
So, Mrs. Baylon, you were talking about the scenario as of this morning, December 1, about December 3, I mean, 3, today, about the progress of the so-called demolition of the so-called ancestral domain with supported by an IPRA law that they should be respected, they should not be thrown out of their own ancestral lands. What is your thought about that?
Oh, this is dangerous answer. Doc, I'll be honest, I'm not so sure about what is the reality, but as far as to my own investigation, I've interviewed barangay tribal chieftains, I've barangay officials, I've interviewed a lawyer to find out the truth, and I have read the ancestral domain at DPP plan of 2015. I had a copy. I'll get you a copy. So I think it's true that they have a copy, but the issue in the city of IGACOS is that they don't consider the Badjaos as indigenous peoples and people who belong there. That's why the council of
So
the city
in other words,
decided to transfer them back to where they belong.
yeah, in other words, the Badjaos there are informal settlers.
Yes, nomads and sea gypsies who are supposed to be from Isla Verde.
So in Isla Verde, can you consider that part of Isla Verde ancestral domain?
No, it's not. It's not really an ancestral domain. No, Badjaos are not considered in Davao, in IGACOS as tribes. I don't know if in Davao City. That's one thing I'd like to find out.
But
Badjaos, they are nomads and they belong to the ancestral waters. But if
then I think that the indigenous peoples law or
IPRA law
should be
is
amended
reviewed to include Badjao.
To include Badjao because it was overlooked. There is like a that they were not included in the list of indigenous peoples in the Philippines.
I think they are because I said I have not studied my lesson on the Badjaos, but they are really nomads. The unfortunate thing is, for me, the Sama tribe is Muslim and Christianized, but the Sama in Samal are indigenous, so it's combination of Islamized and IP. But the Badjaos, the Samal Tribal Society insists that it is these are ancestral, that these are tribes who have been neglected. But these tribes, the Badjaos, have been taken care of in other parts of the Mindanao, except that they are not accepted in IGACOS. Why? Because they are not considered as tribes. So that is where I think the city has to find, the IGACOS as a city has to find out. The NCIP was there, by the way. The city government was there. So there are a lot of consultations and negotiations and review on policies regarding the indigenous peoples. So even among themselves, they have to resolve it.
I have very limited readings on the Badjaos. I'm using one book, a reference book published by former Senator Nikki Cositeng, Sinaunang Happy, or fit the old ancestral weaving. And there was a mention of a certain Badjao. In fact, there is a garment that was referenced to be part of the Badjao. So I don't see any reason that
From
that book.
But from what part?
But generally, there is even a map in that book. I'll show that they would extend from the Sulu, Holo Sulu area,
yes.
meaning to say that part of the celibacy. But since we would, if it's politically correct term to call them sea gypsies.
They're called nomadic sea gypsies historically.
If they are sea gypsies, then the term now is ancestral waters, meaning to say they're
part of the IPRA law.
Yeah. So
Preferential
ancestral
treatment.
waters. But then we should not forget that these are people that they are not fish. So the tendency is for them to rest in the land or the seashore. So you would expect that Samal Island is very close to the Celebes Sea, part of the Davao Gulf. So by common sense, they will rest in Samal Island for, you know.
I believe somebody has to champion them. So maybe a kind of a conversation has to take place. And yesterday, Doc, I was
I
watching
think this is
you.
the start of the conversation
Opo.
now because
I was watching you as soon as you arrived on December 1. You will notice I pulled myself back. I was watching you and how you were able to seem to charm the children and the women and the men, and they clapped their hands with your medicine. So it is health. The medicine is your intervention and giving them more inputs.
and I think I gave them more hope because of the
Yeah.
idea that I will raise money to add more fishing boats there. I will raise more money to add sewing machines and you know.
So I really thought that they will insist on staying, but suddenly they decided, you know why? I was asking Ching, why did they agree to put down their houses? Because
So
they were attracted by
those
the,
dozen of houses there are no longer there.
I don't know if there's still one or two, but they're really part of the clearing. But they destroyed the buildings themselves. Sila ang nagsira, yung mga Badjaos. Why? They were given rights per family.
So they were convinced by the offer of
1,500.
the local government
Opo.
to cooperate.
Opo. And then they were also offered food for work, 396 per day for 10 days, but I don't know for how many. And maybe I said, why don't you dangle that opportunity to those who were to stay behind? You 7.
So right now
They're cleaning
there
now.
are
They're
still
still
7
cleaning.
families
And they're still
out
cleaning.
of the 18 families.
Opo. And they're still cleaning. And Ching is still with them. Lobat na siya, but still documenting. And I told her to ask because the police were there. Somebody brought the police.
Now, if
I hope nothing untoward happens to
you
them.
and I know that we have long-term plans for them.
Opo.
As I've said, I'm not against demolition. I would welcome them if they will be relocated here in Davao City. Very convenient to go back and see them again
Opo.
rather than going to Samal Island.
Opo.
So, what do you think about that? Are we going to see these 18 families as one group where we saw them two days ago, where we saw them yesterday, or maybe by the time we will have a follow-through programs, the people that we met
I
are
don't
no
know
longer
if
there.
I don't know if they will stick together, but they were already on palm boats and they were already in the truck. I think they've been transported to Isla Verde with the housing czar and that Roy, the kagawad from Isla Verde. They're there now. I'd like to go there now and find out if they're there.
Okay, so we will be.
And document more. I'm
Yeah,
going to
we-
get more information. I am a researcher, Doc.
So you,
I said
you,
I am
you
a
would
social
think,
economist.
you would think that from 18 families minus 7,
7. You might have 11 families
so
there.
11 families by this time
Maybe.
is already in Isla Verde.
Maybe po. I'd like to find out for
And then when we
myself.
go there, they will recognize how
I don't know.
they will run, the
You'll
children
let-
will go to me and, you know.
Let me check because I'd like to look for Roy, the kagawad who brought them there. I'd like to look for the barangay captain because I've never been to Isla Verde in my
Oh, I
life.
heard of that place. In fact,
Never.
I have a lady doctor who worked closely before with what is this? This is an international NGO. I think their focus before was housing.
Plan International.
No,
Gawad Kalina.
no, it's the one that's building houses.
Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity. So I know Dr. Years ago, maybe in the early 2000 or late 2000, late 1999, I heard of this couple, Dr. and Dra. Soriano, were involved in that Isla Verde, working closely with Habitat for Humanity. So
You know them? I think we should see them too.
yeah, no, the husband already passed away,
Okay.
but the wife now that you will meet at the Capernaum in her name is
Doctor.
Doctora Imelda Darantinao Soriano. She hailed from inside Cotabato, and I will ask her to give the permission to give you her number,
Opo.
and even if she will not let to give her personal number, you can see her there at Capernaum especially you are also helping another poor patient in Samar that probably this religious Christian organization based in Southern Philippines Medical Center can help your patient. What do you think about that, ma'am?
Yes, I will appreciate that. In other words, my own learning of the last 2 days is that Beautiful Heart Foundation is a volunteer organization that has resources of a Filipino American in the United States who is able to meet with other fellow Americans and would like to come to the Philippines to share technology, to give hope, and to have interventions different from the way we do things. You're a public health professional, Filipino at that, you used to be a municipal health officer. I think as a consultant, trainer ho ako, I like to be able to replicate or duplicate what you do, and we will look for younger professionals, young dentists, young doctors, young barangay health workers who become barefoot doctors and who can do what we do well in a different situation and will be our legacy. And now I'm talking about legacy already.
But anyway,
you know what I'm saying,
since these last 2 days, for me, my first time also to directly deal with lumad, this kind of lumads, the Badjaos. Years ago, I've seen them in the streets. I have seen them peddling pearls, fake or real,
or diving,
or diving in the boats in Zamboanga ports.
Opo.
So now it's with my 2-day visit on December 1 up to, I think I learned a lot of things from them. I learned a lot of things, their sense of community, their sense of family, their sense of leadership.
But their lack of a strong champion. So maybe Dr. Millendez, the Beautiful Heart Foundation, and even maybe the Samal Tribal Society, the Pigsapo, and the Pangang Samal.
Even before I arrived there,
Verde, I don't know what we'll find there today.
Yeah, even before I arrived there, I created already a Facebook page named Save Sama Badjao in Davao Golf.
Wow.
Save
Wow.
Sama Badjao.
Wow.
In Davao Golf. It's just that I have to add the videos, the pictures, and some other advocacies that we can. Mrs. Baylon, since you and I, and of course the president of the Samal Tribal Society, worked together for the last 2 days there in Samal Island, and this is the last day for this project. And this is also the end of the support that I was getting from the Office of the Special Assistant to the President, providing me with a driver and a vehicle where we were able to use during the last 3 days. I think we should not stop what we have started the last 3 days. I will be true to my pledge that I will try to raise money for the additional fishing boats, and maybe getting them a sewing machine where the women and men who are interested in sewing will learn how to do the skill, so that they will earn out of that skill. Do you know why I would do that? Because my mother was a dressmaker, and during her last few years, she was also mentoring other women to learn how to do dressmaking. So it has a connection somehow with the Beautiful Heart Foundation.
Beautiful Heart, Belleza.
Yeah, and lastly,
Corazon.
before we wind up this 3-day outreach with that Badjao, we probably wrap it up by visiting the proposed relocation site here in Davao City in Isla Verde. So that's our next goal, to see if those families are already there.
And what next? What
yeah,
now? What now?
we will assure them that we will see each other again in the very near future. That
Okay.
okay, we'll see each other again in the very near future, God willing, and also make sure that the holistic approach that we started, body, mind, and soul, we can implement, we can introduce, not only saving their body and their mind, but hopefully we will also save their soul. That, but you know, yesterday I felt like they had a sense of prayer, because I mentioned to them before I left, you pray, other than cleaning up your surroundings, you pray that there will be a peaceful demolition process. If you would stick around, that there will be no bloodshed, no fighting. So I think as of now there was no bloodshed, right?
Yeah.
So I think they prayed hard.
There was a good negotiation, and there was a sharing of, there was a sharing of resources from a private sector, Beautiful Heart Foundation, a volunteer like me, an economist, Cynthia, a Badjaos, and an NGO, and the government. I think somehow the partnership or the sharing of resources to help what you call the dying tribe.
Yeah, and I will share
I think
this.
you gave hope.
Yeah, I will share. I will at the end of this meeting, I am expecting you to give me a kind of a formal report, and I will edit all the videos. We will send it to the office of the president, a copy to the office of the special assistant to the president. A copy will be sent as well to Senator Bongo, and maybe we can share this information, this final report to the city government of Davao, and from there we can come up with better plans, doable plans, and maybe easier if they're already here in Davao City, rather than going to the Samal Island where I have to pay for the bars. I have to.
Okay. But still Davao Gulf though.
Yeah.
There are no boundaries for water, so they still might decide to go back.
They may go back. Let
I
us see.
have a feeling they're going back.
Let us see.
So
Okay.
ako, knowing them, I think they might decide to go back.
What they make it,
But
especially if
Davao
they're.
City has to work harder if they want the.
So for them to stay put here, they should be convinced that better programs in Davao City.
Hopefully. And but as nomads, they will still cross the water, and they'll be moving around. Because I think as a social economist, I'm very conscious that early in life I learned that the Badjaos are really nomadic. They don't stay in place, and they prefer the water. And the freedom of, freedom of the seas. But I interviewed, one of the learning also I had is, why do they, we are tired of living in boats, we're tired of having a piece on water, we want now land. So parang nag-change po yung aspirations ng mga Badjaos, and they want to have land.
Well, I heard that from one of the men commenting yesterday that they want pagbago. So we need to see change. Maybe they have
education.
Yes.
Income.
Because I insinuated that I would like these children to start going to school.
Right.
I would like them to start, cleaning up, because as if they are judged as if they're dirty people. So that sense of sanitation.
Yes, it is part of a health and wellness.
So let us
program.
see. Let us really see.
And then nakita ko po yung the beauty of the place, seeing the sun, the water, the sea, and the water. I am more hopeful Now wherever they are, they will realize that they'll have to find the base. Economic, food, health, education, all the services, the social services, which as you said, they have not been protected and they have not been given enough by our government. We're not accusing government of not doing anything. But
I think the word
you have
there
to work.
in the Facebook page, Save Samal Badjaos in Davao, the word save there is very meaningful.
Okay.
We're saving their lives. We're also trying to save their culture.
Yeah.
And in doing that, of course, they should cooperate with us for whatever change that we will propose, that they will just have to follow. And I really told them that I wish I can feel that you obey, you will follow, and they're willing to follow.
They behave today, Doc. I think that is one Thanksgiving word I'll say. They behaved today. There was no bloodshed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they volunteered and they did it themselves. They demolished their own homes. You know this?
Mhm.
There was no demolition by government. They demolished their own homes.
Okay, yeah.
I think
But
that's why I'm not happy about
you're
it.
we're
But
at peace now that the war, even
war
me,
is over.
I'm worried that I don't want to hear news of, bloodshed or any kind of violence, because we don't want to add some more violence in this country. Enough
peace,
enough of
peace
killings.
on earth,
Yeah.
especially with Christmas.
It's Christmas, very timely.
December 3.
Yeah, and in token of my appreciation, I brought a special gift.
Yeah.
This is from the United States, and hopefully, this is from the United States. I was able to sneak in CBD oil, but this is regulated in the U.S. I'm a medical doctor, so
That's
I
an
will turn this
important
over to you as a
medicine.
gift, because I know you have intractable pain, and this will
Right.
really help you. And maybe because of
This is
this,
good for
who
you,
knows?
ah?
Because of the CBD oil, the first bottle that I will give to a Filipina like you may trigger the legalization of medical marijuana in this country. So this is really
So this is
this
allowed.
is part of
it's a
my
gift.
advocacy
Opo.
to legalize the use of marijuana for medical
Yeah,
purposes.
I've read about it. I'll
Yeah.
study more about it and let's see. We need a legislation.
Yeah, we need, and we
Senator
approach
Go.
Senator Bongo to look into it.
Opo.
As long as it's regulated by the governments, it's used. We will just use it for medical purposes, not yet for recreational. So just
How do you apply that?
so what you open this, and then you start with 1 to 2 one drop
Where?
under
Your
the
mouth?
tongue. Yeah.
It's not in the
No, it's
where the
you-
pain is?
No.
Oh.
So 1 drop may take effect, and you will have a sound sleep.
Okay.
It is a good pain reliever. So
Even for my rheuma?
yeah, just orally.
So I'll be the user of that, huh? My rheuma?
Yeah, you can have a good sleep. Your pains will be relieved. So, and then if you can increase 1 drops to 2 drops, and
Once a day
at bedtime.
at bedtime.
At
Okay.
bedtime, that's the time that you really would need rest. You can start tonight and
I
observe.
will. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I'll use it today, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So in 3 days, I'll tell you how I feel.
Yeah, by tomorrow you will tell me that.
My rheuma will be gone.
Yeah, so
My
yeah.
back pain will be
This is
gone.
alternative medicine. Yeah. Okay, again, thank you for the support of the Beautiful Heart Foundation. I'm impressed that you have all the energy, even at age 71,
21.
you're able to cross the island back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, maraming salamat po, and may God bless you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, and it was a pleasure. We might have our differences, but in the end, we can afford to quarrel as family.
Of course, yeah.
And
I mean,
peaceful.
yeah, peace be with
I'm
you.
sorry if I hurt people or people were shocked at my behavior, but for the record, Doc, I apologize to the people who were shocked in that restaurant. The owner was so shocked, the police was so shocked, the maids and even the other IPs there were so shocked. So I
Right.
went back by my behavior
Oh, okay.
and by our language.
Yeah.
And
But, well, it's for us, it's all normal.
I said, sorry, Americano eh, pasensya lang. I mean, we are not like people who will just say, okay, himason ka.
Oo.
So para sa akin, Doc, for me, the fact that I came, the fact that you called and you're giving me this, peace
Yeah.
na po,
And then you
makakatulong na
pray,
po ako.
we pray if it
I'll
has a good
pray.
effect for you,
I will.
you will be the first to testify in the Senate
Yes.
as they deliberate
I
in
will,
the...
sir, if you will notice, I wanted you to meet my friend tonight. She is in the herbal, non-therapeutic, Honos Global Corporation is an American company, and we have food supplement. She wants to meet you, so maybe it's not today, tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I
We'll
still
meet
have
a
two
beautiful
more.
lady.
I still have 2 more days here. Well,
Opo.
actually, 3.
Opo.
Today is the 3rd, 4th, 5, 6.
So let's agree po, after our 3 days with Health and Malasakit Center and Center Bongo's support, we will start.
And let us pray that we can get back the remaining 2,000 plus from...
Yeah, I need it for tomorrow actually. I'll
Okay.
try to call tonight.
Yeah.
But you call him?
Yeah, I will.
And then I like to stay open if maybe the city of IGACOS and the people there are watching. I was doing a work as governance, even though I know you were with the Office of the President and the Senator National. I believe in decentralization. The local people, local government, the barangay of Villarica gave us permission to use your facility, even your tribal place. So,
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Storesa na, may buntag sa inyong tanan. Oh, okay. Kahapon namin din, no? Karon, una-una, ako kita ng natuyan. No? Ako na din kihatag sa inyo. Bata, may kadulaan. No? May kadulaan. No? Tapos, muli ako i-donate ka ng duyan nila.
Makakapit ang pamahin mo.
Karon gusto na ko suruyon ninyo ang lugar. Suruyon na to. Ito na to yung lugar. Para makita na ko ba? Makita sa video. Ha? O sige, suruy ta diri sa video. Okay, suruy ta.
Oh, dalawa. Hindi ako.
Eh na,
Sige.
anuin, nakapalakkas,
Oh.
Isang bakit.
namatay na.
Yung mga balay sa mga badyaw, no? Pila ka pamilya na diri.
Kawalwa. Balay. 18 ka balay.
Oo, iya gunit tayo.
Balangani na Emil.
8 ka pamilya.
Siguro, daghang pamilya do kay daghan man pamilya sa sakla.
Daga, no.
Para makita ang mga balay.
At tauli ka Ismael.
Pagkaon. Ha? Oh,
Ay buntag.
may buntag. May sukan. Ha? Kaon ko ha, oh. Ha? Naman na i-provide pa nga pa ang video.
Unalaan na ka. Sayaw, sige.
Sayaw-sayaw
Sige,
daw,
ako.
sayaw-sayaw.
Na, ano yan na ka ba? May naan na ka. Sige.
Marami ka na. Magsayaw siya
Ha? Oh, sige, sayaw.
Moon!
Like ka.
Oh,
May
sayaw.
kakanitin. Naman, kapasayaw na ka naman. Kaya na.
Oh, mga bata.
Ne.
Oh, sige.
Kamay ka.
Ne.
Una ka rin na. Pakapili.
Arinde.
Mariyon.
Margarita.
May naan ka. Ang siyay. Tonight is now.
Oh, napisa. Sige.
Papayam sa ano naman itik eh.
Dubai pe ka na yaw. Yaw ka. Kung sa na yaw na ka.
Ang wali ang
Okay, thank you. Limutan na rin sa bye-bye.
Oh,
Limutan sa bye-bye.
bye-bye na po.
Ha?
Umusin ba mae?
Why na?
Dentista, ha? At tungo dito sa bayba sa kuan. Dire kwayo dire dire banda. Asa to ato ang kuan tarpaulin.
Dia talpuling ilo.
Dalahan daw, dalahan ninyo.
Ano sa tarpaulin? Gusto na ko interviewon ang gamit ani mga bangka sa mga lalaki.
Talpuling ko.
Isa na mga bangka.
Dire.
Nasara ka na.
Sa may
Tingka malo, tingka ko na makasulong.
Si Sally. Oh, interview na ako kay basi makadungog. Unsa may pakinabuhian sa mga alik-dalikwan?
Tingka. Okay, sir. Ako yung pipiriya, pitching yun.
Sa video. This is implementation yung pangalan o kung sa inyong grupo dire. Oh.
Ako si Bia Sinipit. Among grupo diri Samal Tribal Society of Women o moni ang tribal village sa Samal, Badjaos.
Okay, nata istoryahon nga representative sa mga amahan, no? Sir, si pangalan mo, sir, dahil istorya sa introduce sa pangalan.
Sale.
Ha?
Sierra Sale.
Sir Sally, unsay inyong inyong kinabuhian dire unsay pamaagi nga makakwarta mo dire sa mga pamaagi.
Aning amo adere kay dili man ni nagpuyo kadtong akong amahan sa una panahon pa ng layag-layag panahon pa sa Panuto.
O panahon sa pasabaroto,
Oh.
sa tuiga to.
Di na ko kay bawo kay murag dungog pa ko pero pag gawas sa akong ginahan gistoryahan ko.
Oh, diri gud
Dili ko gianakan.
diri gud kan ki anak.
Dili ko ganakan.
Kaya diri kang anak.
Oh. Unya.
So unsay nadakuan nimo diri nga lugar?
Kaning nadakuan.
Oh, unsay naabtan nimo atong panahon na?
Kadtong panahon pa sa kuan ba sa Baruto.
Oo.
Naglayag-layag pa ni adto.
O layag-layag, karon
Oo.
undang na ng layag-layag,
Oo.
undang na. Wala
Walang na kay nanay ang makina.
Ha?
Nagbangka na
Ah,
ang makina.
nagpangka na. So, sa una, layag-layag, ang inyong panginabuhi, pangisda.
Ang isda akong papa dili man.
Ah, dire,
Dire.
okay. Karon kay manyo modern na no, wala na
Oo.
layag-layag.
Oh.
Motorboat na.
Murag
Oh, pila ka motorboat na ang inyong ginagamit dire.
na ani mga 12 ni.
12 nga para sa pila ka pamilya ang 12.
Ang isa ka bukbalay na itulo na upat na isa.
So, pero pila ka pamilya tanan?
18 ka balay.
18 ka balay. Ang bangka 12 ra.
O do sila.
May group ng kada pamilya na ay istang isa no.
Ay talagi.
So pila ka pamilya usbo nato pila ka pamilya.
Ang isa ka bukbalay na itulo na upat na isa na
Pero
ituha.
pila ka pamilya karon dire? 16, 18.
18 ka bongbong.
18 ka bungbong,
Oh.
ang baroto 12 ra.
O do sila.
So murag kulang pa og
Kulang pa.
kunog. No.
Kulang pa gunong.
Kulang pa kunog para kada pamilya na baroto.
Oh.
Pila may isa ka baroto? Pila
Ang kantidad.
kantidad?
Kurang na siya mga 50.
50,000.
Oh.
Okay. So, ato nang paano paningkamuton nga makahatag ta hinay-hinay nga baroto, no? Para madungagan ba, no? Pero kung sa may kapuha nga isda diri daghan eksakto para igo-igo nga mabuhay ang pamilya.
Usahay mga tinason, usahay unay certain lapu-lapu,
Oo.
usahay mga talakito,
Oo.
kay mamasol mami. Palang taga ka palang
Oh, pero wala mo ka pabuto siguro dahil nyamita.
Dili, kay bawal na sa gobyerno.
Oh, bawal sa
Ay,
gobyerno.
bawal naman kami. Ay,
So,
patagalan sila.
ang inyong kukuha na isda, kada hapon na magdungka diri, kada hapon.
Usahay mulaod ni kanang mga alas 8 musalong na na.
O, sa na,
Oo, kanang alas 8.
sa batang.
Oo, usahay ka ng waka mamainit salong na.
Tapos,
Pinapagdahuman, mangita, ug naay mga suwaki.
mga swake.
Oo, ug kanang mga isda.
Mga
kanang
baruto. Kanos, maaftan ba na kung karong hapon na ang dungka diri balit, dili?
karon murag unsa ta kanod daw ladies. Ali dito karon dili.
Dili.
Nay mo dong ka karon na para makuha na ko sa video.
Ay madunggo ang taw-taw.
Amo lang kani na laod ni.
So pag-abot ka rin, daghan-daghan na madalang isda.
Sahay naigamay.
Tapos ang uban, kanon, ang uban ni pamaligyan.
Balik na diya sa paradang sa bis.
Alya sa beach
Oo, ibalik siya na diha.
Turista, manu-ano nga
Oh,
ginano.
manumano lang.
Pero dili makabot ng palengke.
Dili na lalakang diya sa palengke yung mga kapistak na.
Ako,
Yung mga gagmay diya sa mga rin na
mga
kapit.
turista kan sa beach.
Oh, kanang maligo ay mga
Maligo
Bisaya.
ay, sumayo. Ang babae, kung sa'yo kinabuhian sa mga babae.
Ang mga babae,
Oo.
klaro gid nato ang dili ang mababae kung say magbalidya. Magbalidya kaning mga kuwan o kayo kay.
Oo, muna ilang pang inabuhan.
Ang uban manglimos.
O, lagi di mo na atong gusto natin undangan ka na
Oh,
magpalimos.
mao gani yun talaga.
Oo, ang plano ano, no? Na aking programa nga
Wala.
itan, maswertihan. Kudus tag-additional nga bangka, no? Ang mga babae, kung lalaki po, i-train natin sila o pang-borda-borda, manahi-tahi.
Malaki naman ala ka.
Oo, pwede ba na sila tunduan?
Mas
Matudluan?
guwapo na no.
Ha?
Mas guwapo kaayo.
Matudluan
Naay
sila.
trabaho.
Oo, naitrabaho. Ha, muna akong kuhan.
Mas guwapo kaayo.
Oo, so, ang problema ron, base mong ibalhin mong lugar, no? Ibalhin daw sila, sa mga istoryahan eh. I-relocate sila, i-demolish sila, sa mga istoryahan. Ha?
Di mo na.
I-demolish mo. Kung sa inyong plano, panalitan i-demolish kaya. Karon basig na higayon nga may istorya na ako ang mga leaders sa gobyerno, no? Basig papaundang na ito ilang plano. Basi lang, no? Kung sa man yung pamakihan, makawawon na lang demolish. Kung sa inyong
Among isulti.
Ha, mo.
Kani akong itong sa una-una pa namo pag-uban pa ni aming pag-uban pa na akong sising. Antod karon pero nakasama sa kaning sa gobyerno. Nakasada ko sa gobyerno kay ning ikuana naman ni katong pagkakas murag ikalima na ning tinga.
Oo.
Mahawa naman ko dire nga nakasulti na ko mahawa ko dire ang gusto na ko pa. Wailalis ba? Wailalis.
Away,
Ako,
no?
Oh, kay nahatag naman ni unta unya naman dili ko hatag sa gobyerno.
Oh, pero kapag
Dahil ka ba?
Waon ni.
asa
Ako na!
ibutang? Asa mo ibutang net? Oh.
Unya. Pabalikon mi dito sa among dito mo sa Isla Verde kay nakalis naman ko dito.
Ay, ikaw dito ka, pero dire makadyo ka na tao.
Oo, dire ko na tao.
Kuhan, adyo ka ni,
Kabilin-bilan yan sa atong papa ba?
o, dire ko, kining lugara.
Mm.
So, inyo,
Mayroon talaga yun. Nakukot ko pa ng wa na yung maglalis ba. Kay
Ay,
naka...
wala itong paningkabutan karon. Dako yung mga istorya na leader. Wala mo kayo problema anang ibalhin mo. Dahil sila yung rason, no? Gusto ko maminaw, no? Kung sa may rason, anong ibalhin. Ibalhin kung sa may plano ninyo sa lugar. No? Istorya ang maayong bagoy, away-away. No? Kayo, ibalhin mo sa maayong lugar na safe, na namin panginabuhian dito. Ang mga bata makaiskwela, o magdaot na ay doktor, na ay nurse, na tanaw, wala ko yung problema, ana. Pero ibalhin mo nga, wala ko yung kapuyan, wala ko yung panginabuhian, mura magsigid alam mo, libot-libot sa mentali, magpalimos.
Magpalimos mo.
Dili maayo.
Dili maayo lagi. Murag way tarong ba, wa tay tarong atong
Oo.
kuwan ba.
Di ba niya, muna na akong kini ako ng video makaabot din kay Presidente. Kaya nagpadala sa ako din nagtabang kukuan si Senador Bongoy, hadang driver ni kana akong driver ron, driver ni Presidente na, driver ni Bongo.
Kagay guwapo kaayo.
Oo. Ha?
Mao na among dito sa kuwan sa Isla Verde, mao na yung magkuwan sa among mao na yung itagaan mig balay dito sa Isla Verde.
Oo. Ay ato ni sa butang maayo, no? Kay dili dato kada pang patugat-tugan desisyon tapos masayop, no? Ang ako lang last no words no nga atong reviewan ang surroundings, no? Kaya dagan kay plastic, no? Hindi ang ano sa dagat, madaot ni mga isda,
Oo,
ni
madaot,
masulog ni sa lawas sa isda, madaot. So magbayan yan mo nga nahinay-hinay nga
Sa dump truck kamay mo kuwan.
oo, na yung makakuha. Muna ako nga fight. Ako kasi makabalik pa ko dire.
Salamat kayo.
Oo.
Kita nga mo.
Kasi kung balik-balik dire. No? Kasi kung balik-balik dire kayo muna. Nako na kung kasing-kasing na tandog ba nga Pilipino, tao, no? Napasagdahan, no? Murag, ingon na. Murag way klaro, ha? Karoon din nato, abuto nato ni sa presidente sa Pilipinas. No, Senador Bongo. So may buntag ha, may buntag kita-kita ta dito sa medical mission. Ha? Og na-identify ng mga sundalo na dito niya. Oh, sige ha, thank you.